Wow, America is great. So as most or all of you now know by this point, the first Purge came out in theaters. When I'm recording it, it comes out, it's July 4th when I'm recording this, but this video is going to be out tomorrow, so it will have come out yesterday. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, I would recommend going and see it as soon as possible. It's a really great movie. I really enjoyed it, even though I'm not like huge into like the horror genre or that sort of violence genre. I still really enjoyed the movie. But while I was watching the movie, I was like keeping track, and I found 13 distinct things that I found like very interesting about the movie, or like things I were questioning, or just like interesting points and topics that were brought up. And so that's what we're gonna go through today. Okay, so the first thing that we have is in the beginning, in Isaiah and Nia's like apartment that they live in together. There's a poster on the wall by the window that says "We are strong." It looks a lot like this poster. I found it interesting because there was a white background and all three of the fists were in non-skin colors. Like the middle one was pink, the left one was yellow, and the right one was a light blue. I found that very interesting, that a very, like, those, you see those types of like fist up sort of movement things, it's usually associated with the black community, which makes sense because this story did revolve around Staten Island, which is largely black and Hispanic people, so it makes sense. But for them to take out the racial, like, they left in the racial connotation, but they took out the actual race part. Like, I don't think anyone would be offended in any way. I think people see that as like a good symbol, as like a symbol of black people rising up and, you know, progressing in American society. I found it kind of interesting that they took out the actual racial aspect of it. Another thing, and you might, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but I really love ASL. I've been doing ASL for like 3-4 years now, and like I've gotten pretty skilled at it. I would say that I'm pretty fluent in ASL. And like for a brief second near the beginning when they're explaining the Purge to like the masses, like on TV, they have a signer and it's just like a quick sentence I noticed. I was like, oh my gosh, he's signing properly. It's not like Hollywood signing where like sometimes they like kind of do the right signs, but not really, but they hope no one notices. There's no actual deaf person or person who knows ASL is watching. No, it was actually correct. I was like happy. I was like, oh, does this tie in somewhere later? But it doesn't, and I didn't really think it would. I just thought that was cool. And this is something, I'm just going to jump out and say this now, just in case it ends up like blowing up and people start arguing about it, which honestly they could. But near the beginning, like the gang leader, the drug ring leader, Dimitri, he's like telling all his guys, hey, I want you guys to like stay home or whatever, don't go out purging, because if you get hurt, that's money that I lose, I don't like losing money. And then one of his guys is like, but I want to go out and have fun and purge. And then like he has this woman like completely take him down, and then like while he's down and she has a knife to his throat, he's saying like, I control her, she does exactly what I tell her to. You know why? Because we're family. And like, so I understand their point of doing it like that, because loyalty in gangs and in drug rings, that's literally everything. Like, loyalty keeps you alive, or kills you in some cases, but keeps you alive. But the way that they said that line, I can see like SJWs going crazy and say like, oh my gosh, they just claimed that man has complete power over a woman, this is ridiculous. Someone happens to mention it, I said it here. I don't think it's a problem, but what do I know? I am a male. And so, there's no, like, it doesn't specifically state, like, in, like, a text or anything, like, when the purge is occurring. Like, you know, the climate, we can kind of guess, like, you know, obviously it's not winter. But we don't really get, like, a clear indication of when the purge is happening on Staten Island. However, there is this one throwaway line in the party that says that like, hey, it's Christmas in March. And like when I heard that, I thought, oh, Christmas in March, this must be happening in March. Why in March? Out of the 12 months of the year that they could be doing the purge, why in March? And a really great thing that I found is, it just popped into my head. I was like, oh, March, the most significant thing that I can think of that happened in March would be the Ides of March, which is when Caesar Augustus was killed by his friends. Okay, so it's the 15th of March is the Ides of March. That was like a pretty big deal. Like that completely changed how the world was going to be run thereafter. So in the beginning, like there's not a lot of crimes happening. There's a few looting, stealing, attacking ATMs, that sort of stuff. But when Skrilla, I forget his name, the crazy guy, when he like kills the person who is trying to like open the ATM, that's what they qualify as the first purge. I found that interesting because I don't think that all humans would necessarily jump straight to murder, you know? Like, and obviously they didn't because there was like other crimes being committed, like arson, robbery, vandalism. Those crimes were being committed first. I was thinking, so since she specifically said that the murder was the first purge, are you only qualifying murder as purging? Is no other crime qualified as a purge? And that's what I was thinking to begin with. But then later on, like when people are just like vandalizing crazy, then they qualify all of that as purging, not just the actual murders. And so I was like, okay. Then a next thing, this was just like a cute little thing that I thought of like while I was watching it. But like they were having a bunch of block parties around. Like people would just like party out on the street. Like there was music, there was glow sticks, they were dancing. It was fun. And like as I saw them party, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that is my school. Like if my school was involved in the purge, like our city was where the purge happened, and like we knew that, we would honestly go out and party and just wait and beg for someone to kill us. I just thought like literally throughout the entire scene, I could just picture me and all my friends there dancing, waiting for someone to kill us. And it was just funny because we all want to die. This is something I'm very proud that the movie did. Honestly, it's one of the greatest things that the movie did, at least in my perspective. So as you know, from the purge, all crime, including murder, is legal for the next 12 hours. And, you know, obviously, since they say murder, the first thing you think of is murder. And you think, like, you know, looting, vandalism, arson, stuff like that. But something that I've always, like, wondered how they were going to cover was specifically sexual assault and sexual violence. Because, like, yeah, this movie is rated R, but, like, it's a little graphic thing to show. I know it's not above people to show, especially like we live in a pre-13 Reasons Why season 1 and season 2 world. So like, could they get away with showing something like that? Yes. Would they? No, they didn't, and I'm kind of happy about that. However, they did address it because that little scene with Nia and how she was like staying on the grate and the guy like snagged her leg and was dragging her down. Then she escaped. I thought that was a good little like tip of the hat to sexual assault without actually like delving deep into sexual assault. I was really happy that they did it like that. And this is something that I'm just confused about. So the scientist, I forget her name, the blonde scientist who like came up with the experiment, the behavioral scientist, she said that her predictions show that there would be a spike in crime at the beginning and then it would fade out over time. But she was noticing that there was like little over time, like little in the beginning and then a spike over time. And I was thinking, personally, I was like, when she said that, I was like, wait a second. Wouldn't it make more sense that it did start slow and then jump because of the copycat effect? For all of you that don't know, the copycat effect is a psychological adaptation, I guess. And what it basically is you are less likely to do a risky behavior unless you see someone else do it first. So like an example is, if you're at a crosswalk in an area that you don't know, and like there's no cars around, but like on the crosswalk the light is still red, it doesn't say to go, you are more likely to walk across anyways and jaywalk if you see someone else do it first. Because by seeing someone else do it, then it like justifies in your mind, oh, if they're doing it, it must be okay. So then you are more likely to do it as a result. And that works, like you can see that across many spectrums, like that happens with like with mob mentality, that happens a lot, like since other people are acting out, now I feel okay to act out. That happens with like hate wagons, that happens on My dad was talking about this on college campuses, like how there's a really big spike in parties because like all the other older students are showing like the freshmen that this is okay, so the freshmen party even harder. And yeah, so it's just like a normal thing, like you don't really think about it that much, but you're just more likely to behave in a risky behavior if you see someone else do it first, because it justifies it in your brain. And so when I thought of the purge, I thought that, you know, it would start slow and then spike later because of that. Because just because you say all crime is now legalized, people aren't going to necessarily instantly jump to killing people. Because they've had literally their entire lives of morals saying don't do that. But then once they start seeing other people doing it and more people start doing it, then they start getting justified in their brain like, oh, okay, so it is okay to do. And then there would be a spike later after they've seen a bunch of other people do it. That's just how I predicted it. And another thing that bothers me, she never actually stated why she predicted a spike in the beginning and then petered off later. So I think that I've provided more evidence for my argument than she provided for hers. And she is a professional scientist, and I am a YouTuber. Speaking of copycat theft, that isn't always necessarily risky behaviors. It can also be positive behaviors too that you're just unsure about. One example of that is buying clothing from like a new store, specifically California. California is a great like summer wear sort of apparel store. Their clothes are so comfortable. They're a newer company. They were established in 2016, but they are absolutely amazing. You can go check out their website at californiaapparel.com. That's California without the C, swap it out, put an H there, California. And if you use promo code GlenL92520, you will get 20% off your order, which is amazing. Honestly, guys, you should go use it because this stuff is really good. Right now, I have this awesome tank top by them. I have a hat that's coming in soon. I'm in love with it. This stuff is so good. I was honestly like, I was a little bit concerned when I first bought it. I was like, is this going to be good? But it's honestly amazing. It's so comfortable. As you can see, it's a nice fit. I love it. It's just so good. CaliforniaApparel.com and use code GlenL92520 for 20% off your order. The next thing that I noticed is, why did they have to fake the experiment? Like, I get that the NFFA was like, they needed this to work, to like prove that they should do it on a national scale because that benefited their party, that made their party seem more valid. But my question is, still, why did they have to like go and systematically kill people? Like, I would understand if it was just like a little bit of tampering, like a few extra killings, like really get going so people start actually killing people more. But to completely systematically kill everyone, that seems horrible. And like, I don't understand. Like, I guess more kills, like, it's still more kills, but at the same time, wasn't the purpose of the experiment to test the people, like analyze them after, see if they were angry, then analyze then have them go through the purge, then analyze them after, see if it fixed their anger, helped with their anger. But like, if you're just throwing a bunch of random people in there that are just killing everyone, but you didn't analyze them before or after, and you're not planning on it because they weren't supposed to be part of the experiment, doesn't that kind of like throw out the entire experiment? That's just my question. That was just another thing that just bothered me, and I'm talking about that more later. The other one is the ruthless killing of the scientists. I would find this possibly one of the most disturbing parts of the entire movie. Like, we never get really like any indication that's going to happen, kind of. Like, maybe you can guess, but she just discovers that they are faking the experiment, and then they're like, sorry, we have to. This is out of our hands. We have to do this. And then like 5 minutes or so later, we just see like this truck, this van pull up, they're just driving by on this monitor, and a blonde is thrown out. She's surrounded by people in like black clothing and masks and everything, and he shoots her, and she falls, he shoots her again, and then they just walk away. I was like, maybe a 30-second scene, and that was it, and then he's like, make sure this footage is deleted, and then that's it. They just nonchalantly killed the scientist. And I was just, honestly, it was really creepy. Like, there was no emotion, it was just a cold, calculated move. You must die, and then get quickly and efficiently. It was just over. Another thing that I really like, the whole like black heroes, like when the drug ring, like all teams up together, they like all get their guns and like, yeah, we're gonna take back the city, we're gonna stop those people. I mean, they die like 3 minutes later, but it was still like a cool little scene. I liked it. It was really cool. And then obviously like the new 10-episode miniseries. I'm not sure when it's released when I'm recording this. I haven't checked yet, so it could be released already since it is July 4th. And the last thing is like the purpose of the experiment. Because like from the beginning, I thought the experiment, and this is what they said, they were going to psychoanalyze people before, see if they're angry, put them through the purge, then psychoanalyze them after and see if the purge helped with their anger. But there's never any mention of that after the purge. And like constantly people are saying like the people writing this, the more crimes that are committed, the more successful the experiment is. Which is technically true, but to be much more accurate, the more crimes committed, the more test subjects you have to analyze afterwards, the more chance that they were affected positively, the more likely that the experiment was a success. It's not just like 1,000 crimes could have been committed and like people could still come out angry, and then the experiment wouldn't be a success. There isn't a direct correlation of crimes committed to success of the experiment unless the experiment is something else than what they directly said. Like, yeah, obviously I know the NFFA is manipulating it so it seems successful, but still, like they stated on public television that success of it was to psychoanalyze people before and after to see if the purge helped with their anger, and just having more crimes, especially if everyone is dead, you can't analyze them after, you can't prove that they're better if they are dead. So that's just another thing that really bothered me about that. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. Overall, I really like this movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I hate it, get it out of my mind right now. 5 being, it was okay, but I probably won't watch it again. And 10 being, I am going the next day. I would rate it probably an 8. It was a pretty good movie. There was obviously some things that really bothered me about it. Maybe I just missed something. I'm probably going to watch it again just to check. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. So guys, if you like this video, don't forget to leave it a like. Comment down below if you have watched the movie. Did I miss something? Is this like some clue that I missed that makes everything make more sense? And what was your favorite parts of the movie? Don't forget to subscribe and share this with anyone who you know is interested in the first Purge, because it was a really good movie. Like I said, it was amazing. All my social media is right here. In fact, if you go onto my main Instagram account, you can see a picture, pretty aesthetic, cool picture of me in this California tank top. Like I said, you can get this stuff, california.com, using promo code GlenL92520, 20% off your order. It's an amazing deal. You guys should go use it right away, because honestly, it's great. I think that's all I need, guys, so let's have some fun and smile, because at least this year, we were not involved in the Purge.